I'm going to play.
That's all I know right now.
Because I went through what I went through at the end of the regular season and coming back, I know exactly what it is and what I got to deal with and the soreness / pain level and all that. I guess comfort knowing I've been through it before, but also you'd rather not have to deal with something like that at this point in the season.
And less than 48 hours later, Steph Curry arriving to the arena and expecting to play tonight. He's averaging 31 points and shooting nearly 47% from beyond the arc in this series. And he says he understands how important Game 4 is. Welcome into TD Garden and Game Time at the Finals, brought to you by YouTube TV. I'm Kristen Ledlow, surrounded by champions and Brennan Haywood, Kenny the Jet Smith, Isaiah Thomas. Our Jared Greenberg is covering the series from the sidelines, and he's going to join us soon. I don't need to ask you guys how pivotal his presence will be for the Warriors in this one.
Steph Curry has been the only consistent player in this series for the Golden State Warriors from an offensive standpoint. You gave the numbers, shooting 31%. Shooting 48% from the field, 48 from three, and averaging 31 points per game. If he's not himself, I'm not sure where the Golden State Warriors go right now for scoring. Klay Thompson had a good game, but he hasn't been the regular Klay Thompson we've been seeing from finals past. Same thing with Jordan Poole. He hasn't stepped up either. So if Steph Curry isn't who he's supposed to be with that foot injury, it could be a long night for the Golden State Warriors.
Well, regardless of scoring, I always say he's probably the three best players at his position to ever create a pace for his team. One is to my left, Steve Nash would be the other, Jason Kidd, and then you'd add Steph, where they can make you play a certain style of game. If you play the Golden State Warriors, as they did the other night, you got to score over 110 points, which they did, to win most of the time. No matter what happens, he creates the pace. So forget about the 30 points. He creates a pace that Klay can live in, Draymond can live in, Poole can live in, and everyone else. That, to me, is the most valuable part about the ankle injury. Not if he's going to shoot the ball well, but will he be able to create the pace to make everyone live comfortably?
It's tough to say, Zeke, that any player would be 100% at this point in the postseason, but you've played in this very circumstance in the 1988 finals.
Yeah, and when you play under these situations where you're dealing with injuries and you have some pain and discomfort, the most important thing is, can you be effective with your injury? Can you perform at a high level with your injury? And there are some players who want to come out and give it their all, and sometimes they hurt the team because they're not performing at a very high level. The key for Steph right now with his injury, and he said it earlier, with his pain threshold, can he come out and perform at a very high level and continue playing at the clip that he's playing at? The thing that I worry about with Golden State is, when you look at these three games, every game they've come down in scoring. They started out with 108, 107. In the last game, they only scored 100 points. Curry in the fourth quarter had 2 points. So they got to figure out a way how they're going to score, because Boston defense consistently has knocked them down, and they got to get over 110 tonight to win this basketball
I have a
game.
question for you, Zeke.
Yes.
I always wanted to ask.
Uh-oh.
When I see you limping, on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yes.
Now, we're in 2022 now.
Yes.
Was any of it, I'm going to let them believe that I'm hurt as well?
Oh, hell no.
Or, all
I was hurt.
No. On a scale of 1 to 10, what was the pain threshold right for you?
I'm really going to say about 11.
Wow. Really?
Or 12. Yeah, I had never.
Did they retape it?
No. I just gritted it out, and you can see, I could
was right
barely
ankle,
run.
Right? It was right ankle.
It was my right ankle.
Okay, that's how you got over.
I could barely run.
If it was your left ankle, you couldn't have played.
Yeah, I couldn't jump off of it.
No,
right?
yeah.
But I was, there was a moment in time where, Kenny, and I firmly believe this, if I'm not hurt in that game, we closed that game out. Ain't no game 7, right? That was all closeout game that I get hurt in. And we came to close. and the Lakers were on a rope. So, you know, that was a missed opportunity, but, you know.
You got 43, so.
Yeah, but, you know.
Was it 43?
It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough.
How'd you feel the next morning?
You got 50 there.
The next morning, this is how we met Al Davis and the Oakland Raiders, because the Lakers wouldn't let me use their training facilities. They wouldn't even give me an ice bag. And this is where, you know, they're fortunate here today that I'm sure the Celtics let Steph, you know, rehab and everything. But I had to go to the Raiders training facilities. This is how I met Marcus Allen, Howie Long.
And this is how Bad Boys was created.
This is how Bad Boys was created. Al Davis, they gave us the silver and black, and I wore as a representation and a shout out to the Raiders. I walked in on crutches with the real men wear black, silver and black T-shirt, and that's when the third uniform was created too, because this when the Pistons went to the third uniform.
Ahead of Game 3, Brendan, I asked you to break down the ways in which the Celtics were covering Curry, but will you show us now how they're taking advantage of him as a defender?
Well, listen, one of the things about Steph Curry is his defense has improved, but he's still a guy that you can pick on at times if you have the right type of offensive player. And you see what Boston's doing right here. All they want to do is get a switch. Soon as Curry gives into the switch, Tatum knows he has him right where he wants him. He's not playing around, no long jumpers, goes right to the basket and creates a problem. The Golden State Warriors have to stay away from that. Once again, they go right to the switch again. They give into the switch. Tatum again. No wasted energy. I'm getting right downhill, going right to the basket. I know there's nothing that Steph Curry can do to stop me in that situation. So if I'm the Golden State Warriors, knowing that that is what they want to do, I'm either going to hedge with Steph Curry and have him get back to his man, or when I switch, I'm going to tell Steph, as soon as you switch, get under Tatum or get under Brown and then make them take 1 to 2 dribbles because we're sending help. But by no means, shape, or form am I allowing Tatum and Brown to line up Steph Curry one-on-one on a regular basis. That's a recipe for a disaster.
And that lateral movement for Steph,
especially with the bad ankle. Especially with the bad ankle. And Zeke just talked about how problematic it is. Getting the proper rest, trying to recuperate, how we felt the next day. That ankle is not 100%, and guess what? The Boston Celtics are going to test that ankle. Golden State Warriors and their coaching staff have to protect their best player.
We're going to take a break, but afterwards, when we come back, our Hall of Famer, Isaiah Thomas, sat down and spoke with Jaylen Brown on the day between games.
How have you continued to stay steady?
Just focusing on what's important. We know what Draymond does. We know what he's capable of doing and bringing to the game. So we have respect for our opponent. But at the same time, we can't let it distract.
The overs throughout the NBA Finals. His team down by 2-1 to the Boston Celtics as they get ready to tip Game 4 tonight. And before the game, remember, stick around here on NBA TV to watch GameTime Live. Well, a better turnout. Turned $5 into $2,000 with this same game parlay in Game 3. Here's Dave Weaver from FanDuel Sportsbook trying to do the same thing.
Oh, hey, thanks, Chris. That definitely wasn't me because I always had Draymond Green on my same game parlays until tonight. We're getting rid of him. I'm done with that. But let's get to the FanDuel Sportsbook.